Whoa, it's Wulzy. Welcome back to day 5 of Build Week. After a long day 4, I am here once again. Somehow. It's day 5, Decoration Day. I've got a couple of ideas in mind already, but I do have to take movements into consideration before I start anything, so I can make sure the decoration is nicely arranged and doesn't overlap with anything. In this beginning cube, this mask is acting sideways, which means that things could get iffy if I'm moving along the horizontal x-axis. However, I am free to move along the vertical y-axis, which is what I plan to do for a lot of these structures right here. I've put a start pause all the way over here so I can get a good look at these cube structures without any of this mask stuff going on. All of the designs are on different editor layers. As you can see, I have to scroll through. There's lots of different components to it. Just being able to pause over there lets me just select all of these structures freely without having to worry about anything getting messed up. Wow, okay, I kinda just messed up there. What is going on here? Oh, this used to be one big long structure, but then I made it two separate. These numbers aren't very memorable, so I'm going to do all of the up movements first, then I can move on to the down ones. Just so I can remember, I know that I started on 245, I don't want to have to remember like 245 up, 246 down. I'm going to use my classic move trigger strategy, just by placing move triggers on the edge of each block, just so I can get these movements consistent. Then I'll move them all back after I've placed them all. Bang! Elastic in, out. This is going to be perfect for the job. Yeah, look at that. Alright, you can't have every block moving, and you can't have every block moving the same way. Got a bit of variation going on right here. Some ups, some downs. They're all in the same easing to keep that consistent, but I think this is pretty solid so far. I was worried that you wouldn't be able to see what was going on because of the effect that's already there, but I think it's working a charm. I think this is just the perfect movement and visibility going on right here. Okay, I've got some pillars in now. We've got a nice set of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to move them to the layer above. So Z order 2, we'll put 21 on 0.75 opacity black, and that'll cover that up pretty nicely for some low opacity decoration. I've also slipped in some of these blocks right here. I'm going to have to incorporate those moving groups onto them as well if I want them to stick. I also want to add some of these mini blocks on the side of some of these objects, just to give them a little bit more variation in their shape. Gonna change their opacity too, because they looked a little bit crazy the way that they were. They were way too bright, kind of stuck out. That's a lot better. They're a lot more subtle this way. While I'm thinking about opacities, I could actually save object by removing that 75% opacity black layer above these pillars and just adding them to group 258 instead. That will help me out immensely. Just adding some ground spikes to the bottom of the level with the top value of these blocks right here. I want to add some arrows too. I think that's going to be nice. Trying out some glow on the orbs with a little bit of blending. I think it looks pretty good. The one thing I'm not sure about at the moment is the color of the diamond on those saws. I just don't think it looks right. I feel like it should be either the color of the arrows and the ground spikes or the same color as the spikes, which does actually make sense. I think it should be the color of the spikes. What do these little circles look like? I try to use some white just to give it a bit of variation. I think this is looking pretty sweet. I was quite scared about how the white would go, but I think it actually worked out perfectly. I'm happy. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to goddamn try. This was fading to 0.25, now it's fading to 0.33. I think that is the right value. So group 7 and group 8 get toggled on here. Okay, these objects have group 7 and 8. It's going to act as a black gradient on the top and bottom on B3. As you can see, it's on color channel 9. Then I'm going to copy this, add another editor layer, add a whole Z layer above, then go to black blending and give this a brand new group 259. It's a little bit different to these numbers, but it's going to do. And 259 is going to pulse to a grayish white for 5 seconds, and then it's going to fade out for 5 seconds, which just slightly runs out of this portal right here. You can see the differences here. It might help if this was pulsing as a group and not a color channel. Nice. Maybe I could tone it down a little bit. Maybe this can get toned down a slight bit, and this can fade on for about 3.5 and then fade out for 6. The next thing to do is to replace all of these gear saws with actual saws. I've had to go and use some mini blocks for this saw because these blocks were way too big even when they were on 0.5 scale. What if I actually changed this again? I know I'm making lots of changes, so that it's just like a 2.5 hold, and this color is just kept for this, like this section right here. Now you may be thinking, what the hell is he doing? You know, he's putting all of these default saws in, but when I add the other details using this pulse, it's going to tie together pretty nicely, as well as the color difference as well. This is all like grey and this is all colored. I'll quickly check it in game. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm really liking this. And you know what? I'm even going to get a little bit groovy. Alright, I've had a lot of double pulses in this level already, but I'm about to make another one. This glow object is going to be 260, and this arrow that is going right on top is going to be 261, and these are both going to be black blending. So I want a 1 second pulse in on 259 that goes to white and then quickly fades out to 0.05. Actually, it's going to be a little bit grey. It's not going to be fully white. Then, right at the end of this pulse, I'm going to pulse the other group in, but it's going to have reversed values. So it's going to start on 0.05, then it's going to fade out for 1. It would be nice if I got the groups right. That would be kinda epic. So, it's going to fade in slowly, and as soon as this object gets touched by the player, or the player goes past the same level as it, the arrow is going to appear. Just like that. I think that's really cool. Okay, now, if I give this 262, I can then have a move trigger right here that moves it across 20 blocks in 1.05 seconds, and as soon as the player hits it, it goes across 10 on ease out, maybe. If I just stick all of this on T1, it's blending, so the player will still be behind that. We'll just put it up really high. Let's give this a really high editor layer as well, just to make sure nothing is touching it. Right, we'll go right here, I'd say, because it's going to move left first. Okay, I've done a couple of adjustments on the trigger. This one has been extended to 2 seconds long. It's still moving the same, but it's on ease in. Then this is now moving 40 across on ease out with a 1.05 move time. Bang! There you go. Now all I gotta do is copy this around with Build Helper, and I'll be good to go. This level's looking pretty smooth so far. There's a lot of movements, there's a lot of nice pulses too. There's not many pulses in this part, but I feel like the next couple of parts do make up for that. I just love this arrow thing, man. I'm glad it's worked out how I expected it to. And once again, I'm going to turn down the brightness on this. I've had an interesting idea. I don't know how this is going to work out, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going through and individually giving each one of these gradient blocks its own group. Just getting along to the end right here, going 293 to 306. Then I'm going to quickly go and flip the top, just so it's not the same on the top and bottom. It'll be backwards on one side. Right on this portal, I want to start an effect where each one of these blocks gets faded out quickly, about 0.5 seconds long to 0.1, so it's still there just, but it'll significantly switch up the display, and then it'll just quickly fade back on for 1 second back to full. And then, how much am I going to put between these triggers? I think half a block. Just quickly, I'm going to extend this all the way to 306, and there we go. Where does that extend to? Almost that portal. If I change this fade time, it'll just reach the edge of this portal, and I think that could look pretty cool. Especially if I move it along 1. I think it'll significantly switch up the display going into this duel. Oh, yeah, that looked nice. Oh my, let me see that again. Let's see it. Oh my goodness, that is so clean. I'm going to tamper with this pulse trigger once again. Where does 3.5 take us? To there. So if I extend that to a 4, then that'll just reach the end of these. Then we can hold it for 2.5, which takes us to there. Nice. And then how long for an exit? Like a 3.5? Where's the edge? There. I don't want to go all the way to black before it ends, so I do want to extend this to another 4. Then I can just go and make this white, and that'll really, really make that sweep look really clean. Instead of slowly fading out towards the edge, I'm literally just going to take these and I'm going to make them fade out for about 3 seconds to black from that portal. Maybe on this yellow portal they could go for 1 second and that'll make the sweep happen again. I'm so excited to see this yet again. Here it comes. Sweep on the yellow. There you go. Nice transition. I mean, obviously the transitions haven't been done yet, but that's going to be a very big helping hand for when I do come to do that in the next episode, or at the end of this, depending on how long this takes. I just wasted about 3/4 of an hour. I did a level request in my break from building and deleted the level that I was playing, so that when I came out of my own level I was playing through once more before I hit the record button again. I deleted this copy too. I've had to go and remake all of the effects that I literally just made in this ship section. I think I've got it back to normal, but there might be a couple of differences. It's pretty much the same thing, all the effects are the same. It's just a minor setback. So, you know I've got a layer of black glow here, a layer of T3 grey glow, the one that pulses white, but I've also got a brand new layer on editor layer 14, which copies the value of the lowest level on these blocks. It's a dark blue. It's also slightly opaque because it's got 258 on it. Makes it feel a bit less like a void, and it ties all of the glow together in my opinion. I think it looks pretty cool. Maybe I could have it fade to a different colour as the part ends. I'm still thinking about that. I could literally just go and make it fade out at the end of this ship section. It does kind of highlight that this spinning beam is slightly off-center. You can see on the left that there's a lot more space here than here. But then again, I could just fix that by moving it about 2 blocks to the edge. Also, I've just tweeted a preview of the first cube. Let's see what people are saying. Talented effect creator. Looking hot, really cool. Is this your level or someone else's? Because no one believes that I'm a creator. That gives me confidence about the way the level is going so far. I wasn't too sure on the beginning cube because it does look a little bit messy to me, but now that I've read that off Twitter, I do believe that it looks fine. I'm a big fan of this ship section though. I think this ship part is a lot better than the first cube. I don't even know if I did this before, but I'm going to extend the fade out time to 2 seconds and move it to this portal right here, just so it's a lot smoother. I've put in a few more saws just to fill in a bit more space, making sure that the arrows don't overlap them at the same time. Huh? I didn't know that could still kill you. I added a pink pad right here that I thought would just stop you from hitting the very edge of that, but apparently not. I've just put some mini spikes instead to try and persuade people to go low and not go straight in the middle like I just did and die. Holy, put me in bloodbath. What is that straight fly? I have a tiny little idea for some decoration, which is similar to the pillars in the other part, but I don't know if this is going to work. Let's check these out in full. Okay, I think that is going to work. I like that. That looks so cool. And especially that last one looks insane. How these are flipped. I've added some small chains. This ship part is the part that I had the most doubt with when I was going to come to decorate it. I have no idea how it's turned out this sick to me. I'm literally just going to add some regular little spikes at the bottom here. You can see they sit above everything else. You're going to have to excuse the transition into it for now, but I think the ship section is done. Let's take a look. I've included some pulsing objects on the top of these blocks. The bigger ones have the top value and the little ones have the lower value. Since this doesn't have any obscuring effects, this is going to be a lot more difficult to design and decorate. I'm just adding in some gears around the green line that goes through the editor. You'll notice that I've placed them on layer 2 and I've only placed them near blocks because I'm just going to straight up copy the values of nearby blocks onto the saws. Just something to link the blocks and the saws together a little bit. There you go. Hopefully I haven't placed any saws on top of the circles, but they are pulsing at the same time as the blocks. I like that. It fills in the space quite effectively. Also, while I'm here, I want to make a quick nerf. No one's going to notice that. I'm going to make some quick decoration right here, just by putting a square there and a square here that is on color white and is on the layer above. There we go. We should have a little square. If I put something behind, yeah, you can see that there's a black outline around the outside. And also in this saw, I am going to go ahead and add a chain with page state values of it. And it's going to be on 9 instead of 10 because I don't want blending on it. I just want it to sit there like so. If I want to be super extra, I can go to layer 9 and I can select the blocks that go into the middle of this square. And I can just quickly change them to half opacity black. And that'll make a nice little difference in the mask, and it'll also connect the saws to the blocks a little bit. There you go. Alright, I've filled in all of the saws. I've made the gaps in the mask. I think it's looking pretty sweet so far. You've got some different light levels right there. You've got some nice pulses. You've got some pulsing squares. I want to add some pulsing arrows too, because I feel like these circles on the blocks aren't enough. Also, on the mask, I added a little gradient block at the bottom right here that you can see I've selected. That just blends it back onto this level, so that it doesn't clash with the block too much. It also kind of matches the gradient on the bottom of here. But yeah, there's not much else to include here. There's not really much need for decoration because there's so many effects here that kind of just make it up. One thing I am going to do before my break though is include this gradient on the top of all of these little shafts right here. Because I like having that blend. I don't want it to be messy because the beginning is probably one of the best things I've ever built and it's super clean. I don't want the rest of the level to be messy after that. I just gotta add a couple more details here and there. I can put some more gaps in the mask to include some arrows. That'll be pretty cool. And yeah, then I gotta move on to the wave, which honestly shouldn't be much work either because of how much design is there. That's the joy of having a mask, because it makes up a lot of your decoration too when you have different light levels. Alright, it's time to go and add some shapes into the mask. This block right here is my first target. I'm going to copy the values of it, then put 2 slopes in an arrow shape, scale them down, half space this down to the middle of the block, then just move it to the very edge, pasting the values onto it. Then we just need these mini blocks, paste those values, and there we go. We have an arrow shape, so that when I go into preview mode, go and play this, you can see that there's a difference in the light level. I want this arrow to be right in the middle of these blocks right here, so what I'm going to have to do is go and delete these 4 blocks, and then go and get the mini block, paste the values from earlier, and just surround it so it fits in the middle quite nicely. I just need to keep on making small adjustments and adaptations to the levels look, so I can fit this in the way I want it, so it's in the most aesthetically pleasing place. Wow, I suck at placing blocks. Okay, here is going to be a massive arrow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and align the sides of this with the same values as earlier, so that leaves a 4x6 gap in the middle. I'm going to use a scale 1 slope and a scale 0.5 slope just to make up that middle area. If I can half space that, that's in the right place now. So I need these mini blocks again, paste the values on everything, and that will be a nice looking arrow right there. Let's have a look. I think these arrows are looking decent. Not so good in the dark areas like that. You can't really see them at all, which leads me to go and put something inside those areas. That yellow looks pretty cool if you ask me, although I think it should fade in. So I'm going to be using even more groups to do this. Okay, I've got a 0.2 fade alpha trigger that just turns it off completely. When you go past it, it's like you're turning off the light, which is pretty cool. Okay, I've set them to fade as the player reaches them on a 0.2 fade time. I think this gives it a bit of life when all of these colors are desaturated. I did set the blending effect above it to be on grey instead of blue for the rest, so I felt like I needed some sort of perky color to spice it up. I might include some more yellow for some more decoration right here. If I do that, I do have to remember that the yellow fades out in these arrows, so I will have to have some other fading effect on the other yellow decoration so that works together. You can see right here that I've added some yellow decoration near these arrows that fade out at the same time. I think it actually looks pretty cool in game. I don't know though, I think the fade time is a little bit weird compared to the fade time that's on the blocks. And when there's lots of arrows in one place, like these blocks right here, with these 2 arrows, I think it might become a little bit too clustered. I might have to tweak some things. Oh my goodness, this yellow is kinda crazy. I don't know if I like it or not. No, definitely not that strand right there. I thought I was doing something by putting some spikes on the edge of that block, but that's pretty messy if you ask me. I think I maybe fixed it. I do definitely want to have spikes there because I think that's pretty creative. I forgot to paste the values. I think I also failed with these groups too. Let me just check that. There we go. Now it's looking how it's supposed to. Okay, I like that. Wait, it's empty at the top. I'm having problems with this section, as I knew I would, because it goes completely black, and that's really hard to decorate. What if I literally just put text that just says void, like down here? Okay, Group 258 is coming back, and it's coming back to the arrows that are going in these portals. They're also going to follow the yellow format thing that I was making. Group number 258 is now making a brand new appearance to these arrows that are going on the portals. They're following the yellow format. What if I just make a very bold change to the way that this works and hope that it goes well? So 5 blocks earlier, it's fading out. Then it's going to fade back in as it goes off the screen, maybe? Yellow is joining this void pulse, except it's going to go to quite a dark grey instead of total blackness. There we go. That is actually quite effective. And then, yeah, I'm going to show you the level as it is so far. Then I'm going to go and get to polishing the transitions, maybe making a start on the wave, and I'll end the episode there. I can't possibly decorate this in one episode. Off screen, I've went and rejigged the placements of these alpha triggers, extended the fade off time to 0.5 and changed the opacity to 0.25 so it doesn't go completely invisible, it just sort of twinkles as you go past it, and I like that. I'm definitely going to make the transitions now because I can use the screen I'm going to use to make the void look a lot better. Alright, so using the pause method I explained earlier, I can literally just go and select all of the objects in this ship section, give it a brand new group, which is 318, and then on the ship portal, I can toggle that on, toggle it off back here, and I'll show you the color trigger thing that I did right here. I used color 6 earlier to fade away from black. That goes to 0% opacity. At the beginning you see it's black and then it fades off, so I can reuse this transition right here. You'll see 4 color triggers. This fades it to 0.6 and 0.8, then right before the portal it fades it to full opacity. When the portal's hit, it fades it back down to 0.6, and then this gets turned off on a 1 second fade time to 0 opacity. Then to ease it in a bit more, I could take these arrows away from group 318, just so this transition is eased in a lot more. You've got a sense of direction almost. That spike is very, very dangerous, I've just noticed. Alright, this is group 319, it's literally just a box of spikes. And then this is going to get toggled off right at the portal. So as you go in, you can see that there are some spikes there that you need to avoid. But this isn't going to mess with the effect. All I've got to do is just change everything to be color 1 on both base and detail. I want to copy this color 6 thing again right on the edge of this portal. The only difference is I've moved this color trigger back so it starts fading out as soon as you get to this blue portal. I'm kind of excited to see how the void works with these brand new pulses. I'm not too confident with the way it looks at the moment, so I thought I'd do this before I try anything else because it's kind of ugly. I don't know. I really don't know. It perfectly works on the edges of portals, but when you try to bring it into anything other than 1, it just looks weird. Now I'm trying a 2-second fade time on full opacity. I've synced up with the side of that. Here we go. Void. There you go. That actually might work. I want to try dark blue on this because there's not much blue in this section. It's been mainly grey. I want to see what happens if you bring... Ooh. That could actually be pretty cool if I get the right colour. Alright, I think I'm happy with what I've got for now. I'm definitely going to have to bring in something else on the transitions because the black fade-ins are quite boring after a while. I want to have something else a layer above maybe. I like that new void pulse. I think that works pretty well. It hides the fact that there's barely any decoration there. But yeah, I think that's the end of that for now. We are 45% done. Major progress has been made in this episode. First cube, done. Ship, done. Robot/ball void thing, done. The wave I've got ideas for, and the rest will have to have quite intense decoration because there's no mask or obscuring effect or anything in that part. There's no proper pulses. I mean, I do have the color loops, but they're not like on the same level as the robot ones where I can literally just make free decoration out of it. 2 more days left. Remember, day 7, the finale is a premiere on Sunday. Be there or be square. Have a good day.